The movie blew past expectations, raking in $192 million so far in North America, given this came out Friday.
Right.
That makes the 5th biggest opening weekend ever.
That is so impressive. It was taking up my newsfeed of everyone going to see it. I want to go see it now.
I've heard good things.
You know what else is taking up my newsfeed? All the warm weather. Everyone is loving it from what I've seen.
Segue,
Thank you. Thank you. I've had enough coffee this morning.
Well, that's one movie that's hot in the box office, and our weather's pretty hot.
This is 13 WMAZ Eyewitness News Morning.
Right now on Eyewitness News Morning, continuing coverage of the Parkland school shooting.
I'm Laura Podesta in Parkland, Florida, where Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School remains a closed-off crime scene. We'll tell you why authorities believe the death toll could have been much higher.
And we climbed into the mid-70s yesterday, but could several spots hit 80 this afternoon? And will the stretch of warm weather continue into the weekend? I'll have all those details coming up.
Plus, we are introducing you to international cuisine offered right here in Central Georgia. Suzanne Lawler is about to show us a delicious Vietnamese dish that you can try. And
this is going to allow us to really recapture the marketplace and put the Georgia Peach brand back on top where it's always needed to be.
Central Georgia's largest peach supplier just got even bigger. The company who says they are now the largest peach and pecan operation in the country. Those stories and a lot more. Eyewitness News Morning starts right now.
Well, good morning. Happy Friday, everyone. You are looking live over downtown Macon. It's 6:30 on this February 16th. I'm Caitlin Heck.
And I'm Carly Barnett. First this morning, let's send it over to Matt Daniel with a look at our weekend forecast. Matt.
All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Over to you, Caitlin and Carly.
Thank you, Matt. Now for our top story at 6:30. A court date is set for the teen accused of opening fire inside a Florida high school Wednesday, killing 17 people and injuring more than a dozen others.
All of those killed have been identified. Officials say the suspect did buy the assault weapon legally at a Florida gun shop.
Laura Podesta has the latest from Parkland, Florida, where people are still just trying to come to grips with this tragedy.
Emotions were raw at the Pine Trails Park Amphitheater in Parkland, Florida.
Police have interviewed more than 2,000 people so far in this investigation. The school, still a crime scene, will remain closed today.
And we now have a detailed look of how Wednesday's shooting took place at Stoneman Douglas High School.
Law enforcement put this timeline together using video, witness accounts, and other evidence.
The clock starts at 2:19 Eastern Time.
The Broward Sheriff released the names of the 17 victims yesterday. 14 were teenagers, 3 of them were adults. Witnesses say one of the victims, assistant football coach Aaron Feis, was killed as he threw himself in front of students in order to protect them. All 17 people are being remembered this morning by family, friends, and the community. Funeral services are still being arranged.
Meanwhile, law enforcement across the country are keeping a closer eye on schools. One Central Georgia police chief has experience as a first responder at a mass school shooting. Georgia College Chief Don Chalice worked at the University of Iowa during a mass shooting in 1991. Since then, he says he has spent a lot of time assessing past active shooter situations. He offered some tips for anyone caught in that kind of situation.
You have some options. Get the heck out of the building and keep on running. You can secure yourself in your building. You can block the door. You can, if you have to, you can fight back. There's different programs out there. Run, fight, hide's one, but it's based on if you can't get away.
Next week, Chalice and Georgia College will host a 2-day training seminar on threat assessments to help schools and colleges identify possible threats and reduce the danger. That happens Monday and Tuesday in Milledgeville. Meanwhile, the Monroe County Sheriff says they've charged a Mary Persons High School student who allegedly made a threatening social media post. Lieutenant Lawson Biddick says someone reported the post to the school. The school district says the post used, quote, concerning and potentially threatening language against the school. They called in law enforcement and the student was taken in for questioning. Lieutenant Biddick says 17-year-old Brandon Hudson is now charged with disorderly conduct, which is a misdemeanor. He says the post was too vague to merit charging him with a felony like making terroristic threats.
Now, speaking of the Monroe County Sheriff, President Trump nominated Sheriff Biddick to be a U.S. Marshal. A release from the White House says Biddick is nominated to serve the Middle District of Georgia as a marshal. He has been sheriff in Monroe County for 35 years. He started with the department as a radio operator back in 1972.
Well, this morning events continue during Black History Month. Fort Valley State hosted an author series last night called An Evening of Reading, Conversation, and Autographs. It featured Dr. Bernard Hodges, part of the Fort Valley State class of 1993. Hodges is the author of Bet on Yourself from Zero to Millions. It's a motivational book detailing how Hodges evolved from a self-proclaimed kid from the country to a successful veterinarian, real estate mogul, and now budding author. He says he hopes this story can help others as well.
I mean, this book transcends everybody. I mean, it transcends black, white, young, old. It's about betting on yourself. It's about starting from nothing and getting something. But the key is reaching back to grab somebody and bring them along for the ride.
Now, you might recognize Dr. Hodges from his weekly appearance on weekend mornings during our pet segments. Hodges is having a book release party at Barrington Hall Golf Club tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
This morning, we continue our culinary tour of the Olympics with our international food block.
Now, if you can't travel all the way to South Korea, you can still eat all over the world right here in Central Georgia.
Suzanne Lawler is checking in with Vietnamese fare this morning. Good morning, Suzanne.
Hey guys, we're here with the folks at Pho Saigon. Stuff, I'll tell you, I love eating around the world. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Suzanne. They make it look so easy to roll those spring rolls.
And the presentation was so pretty, too.
I know. I tried that at home. It wasn't that good.
A little bit of a mess?
A little bit, yeah.
That's okay. We'll learn. Now, of course, here in Georgia, we also have our own favorite homegrown foods like peaches.
Well, Central Georgia's largest peach supplier just got even bigger. Lane Southern Orchards is merging with Taylor Orchards. They say they are now the largest peach and pecan operation in the country.
Combined, the two have more than 10,000 acres of peaches and pecans. They say Lane and Taylor will be able to move equipment and personnel between the farms, making them more efficient.
Now, Lane CEO Mark Sanchez says the merger will also help the local economy.
This is going to allow us to really recapture the marketplace and put the Georgia peach brand back on top where it's always needed to be.
The consolidated operation will pack peaches under the Lane Southern Orchards label.
Now, I know it isn't summertime yet, peach season, but based on these temperatures, you could fool me, Matt.
Yes.
I know. It's going to be even warmer today. We could see highs in the upper 70s to near 80.
Welcome back. It is 6:44 now. I know the esteemed General Beauregard Lee said that we're going to be seeing more winter, but I mean, his reasoning is really coming into question.
It's getting a little rusty, I think.
And we're not the only ones questioning it. We've had a lot of people on Facebook. Carlene Marie wrote this yesterday on Facebook. This is out of Rents. The maples are blooming, the oaks are budding, the barberry's loaded with blooms and bees, the cedar shrubs are covered in blooms ready, and the groundhog said, what? The only thing missing is the flock of robins.
You got some splaining to do, Mr. General Beauregard Lee.
Now, we have to be careful. We don't want him to get the last laugh and kind of have the situation we had last year. So,
Well, he might be laughing now, but I think right now we're laughing at him. So
Oh, boy.
We'll see what happens. If you don't know, you know, me and the groundhogs, we don't really get along that well.
welcome back. I think we could all use just a feel-good story on this Friday.
Yes, we could. Yes, we could.
So for today's Straight from the Heart segment, Valentine's Day might be over, but we are still sharing the love.
Absolutely. Some very special visitors went to the Children's Hospital to spend some time with the young patients there and hand out cards. So that includes the Cherry Blossom Queen Sadie, Petals, the gecko. You know, they're dating right now.
Item.
Yeah, one of those patients that we heard about was actually 3-year-old Nolan Ballard. That's him right there. His mother, Amy, sent photos of his special visitors, and she wanted to thank the ER doctors and nurses who discovered his appendix had actually ruptured, and they had to perform emergency surgery.
Now, as you can see, he had superheroes and a whole lot of others to make him feel a little better. So thank you for sharing your story with us, Amy, and thank you to the Cherry Blossom Festival for spreading some smiles. I know those kids sure enjoyed it.
If you have a story that comes straight from the heart, please let us know. Send us an email to eyewitnessnews@13wmaz.com, or you can always send us a message on Facebook.
And if you are headed to the Cherry Blossom Festival this year, remember, it starts a month from today, if you can believe it, March 16th through the 25th. Tickets just went on sale yesterday.
And if you want to get those tickets, you can pick yours up at the Cherry Blossom Gift Shop. It's on Cherry Street, of course, across from the Rookery.
All right, we'll be back in just a minute with a final look at your forecast.
But first, here's what's ahead on CBS this morning.
Coming up.
6:55, one last look at our top stories. The GBI still has not released the name of a woman who died in an East Elbin house fire this week. Lawrence County Fire Chief Don Bryant says they are still trying to figure out how it started.
One commander at Robins Air Force Base says the work on the Navy and Marine C-130 will move from Robins to Utah to free up space. He says to fit the new C-130s in the next few years, they are starting a $20 million restructuring of their factory.
Central Georgia's largest peach supplier just got even bigger. Lane Southern Orchards is now merging with Taylor Orchards. It now makes them the largest peach and pecan operation in the country.
And you do not need a jacket this morning. It is very warm and muggy. We are in the mid 60s, our average high 62, so we're already a few degrees above that. Can't rule out a stray shower late this evening, but overall just a mostly cloudy sky. Today, upper 70s to near 80 degrees. And we're going to stay warm in the weekend and even into next week. So spring weather looks like it's here, at least for the next 7 days. Very, very warm.
All right, well, thank you for joining us for Eyewitness News Morning.
The news continues throughout the day on 13WMAZ.com and on MAZ Mobile.
CBS This Morning is next, and then we'll have more local news and weather in just 25 minutes.
But first, a look at the week that was with This Is Home, straight from the heart.
We about to live it up, y'all. Let's go.
It's a big world, and now we're loving this town. It's our turn, so put your hands up. We on the big screen, and everybody's here living out our dreams. Dreams, whoa, yeah, yeah.
Is 13 WMAZ Eyewitness News Morning.
Right now on Eyewitness News Morning, we now know the names of the 17 victims from Wednesday's school shooting in Florida. We have the latest from Parkland coming up.
And we should stay mostly dry today, but could rain enter the picture this evening and into the weekend. I'll have the latest details of what you can expect coming up.
Plus, we are introducing you to international cuisine offered right here in Central Georgia. We'll see where Suzanne Lawler takes us up next.
A general at Robbins says it's been a string of good news for them at the base. I'm Jacob Reynolds, and coming up, we'll tell you why they're excited for the future.
Those stories and a lot more. Eyewitness News Morning starts now.
Good Friday morning, everybody. We've been waiting to say that since Monday morning. You're looking live over the city of Dublin. It is now 6 o'clock on this February 16th. I'm Carly Barnett.
And I'm Caitlin Heck. Let's head it over to Matt Daniel. He has a look at our weekend forecast. Good morning, Matt.
Good morning. Yes, over to you, Caitlin and Carly.
Thank you, Matt. Our top story at 6 a.m. this morning in Parkland, Florida. The suspected gunman in the Florida school shooting is being held without bond. He is charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder.
Officials say Nicholas Jacob Cruz shot into 5 classrooms and hid among students as they were fleeing the campus. The Broward County Sheriff's Office says Cruz confessed to the shooting during interrogation. They say he is currently on suicide watch.
Investigators say Cruz had been living with another family following the death of his mother. 18-year-old student Vanessa Burton says she met Cruz when they were in middle school. She described him saying, quote, he just liked hurting things.
Burton says as a kid, Cruz once jumped in front of a moving car and that he liked to hurt animals. She says he was kicked out of at least 2 schools before being expelled from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, where Wednesday's shooting took place.
Police say he used an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle in the attack. They say he purchased it legally in Coral Springs last February.
Now, the Broward Sheriff released the names of the 17 victims yesterday. 14 were teenagers and 3 adults. The community came together in grief last night as at least 1,000 people attended a candlelight vigil. One 17-year-old who joined the gathering described the feeling as he listened to the list of victims being read, saying, quote, each name was like my heart skipped a beat.
Since the shooting, law enforcement across the country has been on the watch for any copycat threats. In Bibb County schools, officials say they are working to prevent violence as well as other hazards. Abby Kasouras shows us the measure they are taking to keep children safe.
David Garnett is a fire marshal at his elementary. 13 WMAZ Eyewitness News.
Principal Jennifer Askew says they have reviewed security plans and will continue to practice safety drills at least once a month.
Sanctuary cities and sanctuary communities refuse to report immigration violations on the grounds of simply getting an ICE warrant.
Earlier this morning, we set out to verify a question from a 13 WMAZ viewer asking if there were any sanctuary cities here in Georgia. We verified that no, sanctuary cities are not legal in Georgia, but there are some sanctuary communities within DeKalb and Clayton counties.
Well, this morning we continue our culinary tour of the Olympics with our international food block.
If you can't travel to South Korea, you can eat all over the world right here in Central Georgia.
Suzanne Lawler is checking in with Vietnamese fare this morning. She joins us live. Suzanne?
Hey guys, we are at Faux Saigon. Let me tell you, I'm very excited about this. We are with Trang Tu and Lo Quinn, owner. We'll talk to you then. See ya.
All right, thank you, Suzanne. See, 3 o'clock in the morning is when we eat our breakfast, so
Exactly.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to seeing some more dishes coming up.
Well, if you would like to keep up with the real-time updates and stories surrounding this year's Olympic Games, all you have to do is download the 13WMAZ app or go to 13WMAZ.com and click on the Olympic tile.
Well, right now in Pyeongchang, Norway is in first place with 19 overall medals. The U.S. is in 5th place with 8. But it is worth mentioning those rankings include total medals, gold, silver, and bronze.
Now, just in terms of gold medals, Germany has the most with 9, Norway has 6, and the U.S. and the Netherlands are tied with 5.
Meanwhile, things are looking a little better for the American servicemen and women at Robins Air Force Base. Jacob Reynolds spoke to General John Kubinick about some new jobs that are coming to Central Georgia.
Brigadier General and Robins Air Logistics Commander John Kubinick called it a combination of good news for Robins Air Force Base. The Eyewitness News.
Good news for Robins Air Force Base there. We like to hear that.
It is now 6:12. Matt has a look at our Friday forecast.
All right, if you love warm weather, today's that day.
Welcome back. 6:20 today. One piece of kitchen tech could help you cut your food costs. Our deal guy Matt Granite gets the job done on a dime.
Chances are, if you're watching right now, back to you.
And if you want to find that deal on our website, just head on over to 13WMAZ.com/ways to save. Now, here's Matt with a look at your morning traffic.
Good morning, it's 6:21.
Welcome back, 6:28.
Valentine's Day may be over, but some people are still spreading the love. The special gift one group brought to some Central Georgia children. That is up next, straight from the heart at 6:50.
And we're looking at spring-like temperatures for the next 7 days. Could be very close to 80 today. Every day is going to give us some clouds, maybe some sun, and tiny rain chances, but I don't see any sign of winter weather on this 7 day. Looking pretty good if you like warm weather.
Yeah, looking pretty good. We're coming up on 6:30 now.
We'll have your top stories up next.
We will return after this.